Hey guys, welcome back to Karting with Chris. Today's video is going to be the Fall 6 final race here at North Texas Karters. So before I get too far into this race, I'm just going to give you a quick recap of to why I'm not showing the pre-final and I'm just showing you the final. So for starters, in qualifying, I qualified in 7th place out of 12 people, so that's about mid-pack. My fastest lap time was pretty similar to everyone else, so the lap times were pretty close together on this day. But after qualifying, they checked everyone's fuel, and I got disqualified. Now, I'm not going to get into a long rant about the fuel checking system they have here, but for those of you who are not NTK natives, basically, if you have old fuel, it will be read as illegal. Even if the fuel is legal, if it's old, then the device will deem it illegal. So that's what I had. My fuel was about a week old, and it was deemed illegal. So that meant I had to start dead last in the pre-final, and the reason I'm not showing you the pre-final is because I stupidly forgot to put the battery in my GoPro, so everything that had happened did not get recorded. But basically what happened in the pre-final is I think I gained about 3 or 4 positions, and then on the last lap I got freight trained and dive bombed, and yeah, I went back down into 12th place. So not a very good pre-final. So that brings me to this race right here. This is the final, starting in dead last again. This time I'm going to try and keep my nose clean at the start. That's my plan, and just try and stay out of trouble. For those of you who don't know about NTK starts, turn 1, there's usually a lot of crashes and incidents, and those crashes and incidents usually happen mid-pack and further beyond. So we're going down the main straight here, waiting for the flagman to wave green. Flagman waves green, we're good to go. So right off the bat, you can see that I just get caught napping at the start. Didn't mean to do that. I meant to be a little closer than that, but everyone goes really slow at the start, so it's not hard to keep up with everyone. And unfortunately, no one took anyone out at the start of the race. I was hoping that maybe there'd be some carnage and we could drive around it, gain some easy positions, but no, that didn't happen. So for the rest of this race, I'm just going to try picking off people one by one. Going into turn 7 here, Hunter raises his hand, giving me a little signal. That was him basically telling me that he's going to brake a little earlier going into turn 7 because his tires weren't up to temperature yet. That's another thing to note for this race, that it was very cold, so warming up your tires is going to be much more important. Going down into turn 1, Hunter's looking for the move, doesn't quite happen. Exit of turn 1, look to the right here, we can see Chris, he's a friend of mine, going off into the grass. So we gain a position there. We're now up into 11th place, so if we keep doing this, maybe we can get up into 1st place. So one thing I noticed about this race is that it settled down really quickly. Usually there's a lot more fighting in the early stages of this race, apart from Chris, going off track, but for the most part, it's pretty settled down here. I can definitely tell Hunter wants to get past cart number 22 in front of him, so instead of trying to pass Hunter, I'm going to try and help him pass number 22. And so coming out of turns 8 and 9 here, 22 is kind of going defensive into turn 1, and so Hunter can't quite get past him. And you can see he raises his hand there. He's a little frustrated. We can see 22 goes out wide through turn 2, and Hunter does a nice move on the inside. He passes him, and so now I got to try and pass 22 on my own. Now, unfortunately, 22 now has the slipstream of Hunter in front of him, so you can see that going down the straights here, not quite able to catch up to him as much as I'd like to. But going through turns 8 and 9 here, we're going to take it beautifully, and he's just going to go off wide on the exit of 9. He dips a wheel out into the grass. That just kills his momentum. And now we're up into 10th place. Hunter has pulled away from us a bit, so now we just got to try and catch up to him and go from there. So far we've passed people based off of their mistakes, and at this point, if this trend continues, we should be up near the top in no time. But you can see the carts are starting to space out here, so I really got to try and catch up to Hunter. Now, the one thing I don't want is Hunter to catch up to Kurt right in front of him and start working together and pull away from me, because we all know two carts are faster than one, especially in the 206 world. If you don't know anything about 206s, if you want to be fast, you have to have a friend. So if you start working together with someone, you're definitely going to be a lot faster than someone who's all by themselves. But so far, Hunter isn't quite close enough to Kurt to get within his slipstream. I am slowly catching up to Hunter. I think his tires aren't up to temperature as much as mine are. You can see we're right within his slipstream range right here. Maybe not this straight, but definitely the next straight. So going into turn 7, we're going to be right on Hunter's bumper. So we have officially caught up to him now. We're actually giving him a little tap just to put some pressure on him. And so I've got two options here. I can work together with him and try and catch up to Kurt in front, or just pass him and just, be on my own. So for the time being, I'm going to just push him down the straight. He gives me a thumbs up. He appreciates that. Everyone appreciates a good push down the straights. But this is also telling me that I've got decent pace. So I was able to catch up to Hunter within 1 or 2 laps. We are definitely getting closer to Kurt. Banging into the back of Hunter there. I'm not quite sure his tires are completely warmed up yet. So I'm actually going to try and pass Hunter. I don't want to have to wait for Hunter's tires to warm up. And I just want to pass Hunter, catch up to Kurt, and just pass Kurt and just keep moving forward. Because like I said, I feel like I've got good pace at this stage in the race. So coming out of turns 8 and 9 here, Hunter taps his helmet. He wants me to work together with him. Unfortunately, that's not what I do. But going into turn 1 here, we get the move done. We're up into 9th place. And now we just got to try and catch up to Kurt. That pass did allow Kurt to pull away, but like I said, I feel like I've got decent pace, and we're just going to try and push forward. So a good habit to have is when you're catching up to someone, notice where they're slow. So when you do catch up to them, you know exactly where to pass them, so you're not just stuck behind them trying to figure that out. So while I'm trying to catch up to Kurt, I'm trying to figure out where I'm faster, where I'm catching up to him. Coming out of turns 8 and 9, I do look behind me. I see that I am pulling away from Hunter. So there is a gap behind me, so I don't have to worry about Hunter too much now. I can focus all my time and energy on Kurt in front. So we're actually now within a kart length of Kurt, so this is good news for us. We're within that magical slipstream range. Going into the chicane, we're actually going to look behind me and watch my Micron. It just falls off. Don't know how that happened. I kind of look at it, I'm like, what the hell do I do with this? Put it in between my legs, and for the rest of this race, I had a Micron dangling between my legs.
There's something loose between my legs, apart from the obvious.
So, ignoring that, we're now right on the bumper of Kurt in front. And coming out of turns 8 and 9 here, this told me something really important. He has really good bottom end. I think he told me after this race that his gearing was for bottom end. So coming out of the corners, you'll see him pulling away, but at the end of the straight, you'll see me start catching up to him. But coming out of turn 3 here, you see him shaking his head. He's made a mistake. This is going to be a perfect opportunity for me to look for a move on him. So going down the straight here, you're going to see at the end of the straight, I start really pulling on him. Going through turn 7 here, he does a nice over-under on me. I'm put off line through turns 8 and 9. And like I said, he had that bottom end. And so coming out of 8 and 9, he's able to get along beside me. Hunter has caught up. He pushes Kurt down the straight. They freight train me both. And Hunter actually passes the both of us as Kurt and I lock bumpers there. And yeah, we move down into 10th place. So unfortunately, Hunter has finally warmed up his tires, and that fighting has allowed him to catch up to us. And he did an absolutely beautiful move on the both of us. And now we're down into 10th place. We're on lap 11, and I'm starting to realize that my race is with these two guys. So it's going to be a straight-up battle for 8th now. So after reviewing this race, watching over the video, editing it, I'm starting to realize that I think Kurt might have been on the better gearing. So I wasn't really hitting my rev limiter too much. And when you're around NTK, you want to be hitting your rev limiter near the end of the straight. And I really wasn't quite hitting the rev limiter near the end of the straight. So I think I had too much top end, not enough bottom end. And you can see it's not really helping me coming out of these corners. But going into turn 7 here, we see Kurt, I think he was going defensive, maybe he was going for a move on Hunter, wasn't quite sure about that. But coming out of turns 8 and 9 here, you see me, I'm just all over the bumper of Kurt, and I just lose all my momentum because I just banged into the back of him. You see he kind of pulled away, and Hunter pulled away too, so I felt that Kurt was going a little too slow through turns 8 and 9 there. So if I do want to pass Kurt, maybe, back off before 8 and 9, get a good run coming out of 8 and 9, and go for the move through turn 1. So these are all the things I'm thinking while in this race. Obviously, if he's on the bumper of Hunter in front, he'll have that slipstream. It'll be a little harder to try and pass someone. So going through turn 7 here, we're a little further behind Kurt than we were last lap. So we're going to see if we can get that momentum going through turns 8 and 9 here. And we just tap him ever so slightly right there. Doesn't look like much on the GoPro, but it was enough to kind of ruin my momentum. You can see not quite able to catch up to him. So we're running out of laps here. We got to pass him. I'm thinking about maybe looking for a move through turn 2. I was also noticing that going through turn 1, I was able to get a better exit than him. But yeah, just not quite happening yet. I don't want to go for any sensational dive bombs, not at this point in the race. So going through turn 7, giving Kurt a little bump right here. Just trying to keep that pressure on. He is making mistakes, but they're really not too significant for me to, really get around him. Like I was saying earlier, Hunter is right up ahead. We want to try and preserve 8th place, make sure it is within reach, because we only have about, 3 more laps left in this race. So we really got to try and be tactical with our passes. But coming out of turn 3 here, I don't think Hunter took it too well, and so I think Kurt saw this as a good opportunity to pass Hunter. You see, Hunter's actually pretty far ahead, but I guess Kurt thought he was close enough to go for a move, and in all honesty, in turn 7 here, Hunter did give him the space, but I don't think that move was ever on, so I don't think Hunter really had to give him the space there. But going through turns 8 and 9 here, we're on the back of Kurt. We're a little closer coming out of the corner than normal, but we're also a lot closer to Hunter now. And so we're on the second to last lap now. I'm pretty sure Hunter's going to go defensive at this point, so we got to really try and make sure if Kurt goes for a move, we're going to follow him through. So coming out of turn 3, we're all very close to each other, and so it's all going to kick off going into turn 7 up ahead. Hunter goes semi-defensive, not completely defensive. Kurt takes full advantage of this. I'm going to try and look for an over-under move, and it does work. We get side by side with Hunter, and he pushes me out wide, and I get caught in the grass, and you just really can't turn very well in the grass. And that, sadly, was the end of my race.
Cause you had a bad day, you take it one down, you sing a sad song just to turn it around. You say you don't know, you tell me don't lie, you're working a smile.
Now, I could have kept going, but we only had one more lap left. I was now officially in last place. Like I said at the beginning of this race, nothing was really going right for me, so I just decided to call it quits there. I was just not having a good day, and enough was enough. Now, looking at the brighter side of things, it was a pretty fun race. I did enjoy battling with Kurt and Hunter, and he apologized after the race. I forgive him. He didn't really see me. He wasn't really looking over to check to see if I was there. So I forgive him, and I'm not mad at him at all. Now, the bad news just gets worse, because this was actually the last race on the calendar here at NTK, so not a great way to finish out the year. It's not my last race of the year. I plan on doing other races like rental carts and stuff like that, so do keep a lookout for other videos that I will post. But unfortunately, that's all I have for today. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing, and if you have any questions, suggestions, or opinions, please do comment below. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.